Slimehouse TV, myself Theo Kane, hope everybody is good, and hold tight the Slime Alliance if you're watching this a little bit more in advance than everybody else. Today I want to tell you about something cool that I picked up. You know that when I get something from a shop that you can get now that's not vintage and retro and it's something that's in shops that's available now, I like to share it with you lot that watch this show because you might like it as well and you might want to pick yourselves one up. So I sometimes get accused of being a shill for doing that, and the other day I had to Google what a shill even was, and apparently it's when somebody like pays you incognito to promote their product and say, tell people you think it's good and stuff like that. Well, I wish that was an option and people come at me with comics and toys and sticker books and things and were like, talk about this but don't tell anybody that we've told you to talk about it, because it would be awesome. But at the same time, I also don't need to be told to like promote this stuff and big up how good it is, because I don't show things on this channel that I don't like. I show things on this channel that I fucking love, and this thing that I'm going to show you today is something that's exactly that. So I went into Forbidden Planet the other day and I was just having a browse round like you do, not looking for anything in particular. I was just in town and I looked at the comics and I saw this comic and I was like, why didn't I know that this existed? And it's Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now, if I was ever going to be a shill, like, why would you need to shill this? This is like fucking amazing. Why didn't this exist before? I can't believe that it took this long for him to make this in some form of media. Toho Godzilla versus the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it, why I think it's awesome, and why if you're into either Godzilla or Power Rangers like I am, and growing up with like two of my favourite things in the world, so them combined into one comic is fucking phenomenal to me. But why, if you're into this kind of thing, why you would probably want to pick one up yourself. And it's only issue 1 and 2 that's out. There's only 2 issues out so far, so it's not too late to get on board if you think that it's something that you might enjoy. So this is basically a comic of what would happen if Rita were just like, do you know what, I am so sick of every single plan that I think up being thwarted by the Power Rangers. I'm sick of them messing up every single idea I have. Every monster that me and Finster create, they decimate and they kill and they ruin all my plans constantly. I'm gonna try and find a different universe, a different dimension that doesn't have Power Rangers in it, and I'm gonna try my look at conquering that one, because I'm done with this one. I'm sick of all my plans being thwarted. I'm going to find a new dimension and I'm going to try and take over that one. A dimension that doesn't have any Power Rangers in it. And she does exactly that. She finds an old temple with a power stone in it that'll allow her to travel interdimensionally. And this is proper OG Power Rangers. So you've got the original lineup of villains. You've got Goldar, Scorpina, Finster, and then you've got the original Power Rangers lineup. So you've got Jason, Kimberly, Billy, Trini, Zack, Tommy, the OG Power Rangers, the Power Rangers that people my age grew up watching. And it's also the old 70s Showa era of Godzilla, my favourite era of Godzilla. And although I've only seen a couple of the classic Godzilla monsters so far in these 2 issues, I can't wait to see who they're going to bring into it next. So like I said, Rita's found this old power in an ancient tomb, and right off the back I can see that this is a comic that's catered to more mature readers. It's catered to people that very much like me will have grown up watching the Power Rangers but are now an adult, so they can take a little bit of blood, take a little bit of viscera in their fight scenes. And the monks that guard this tomb have all been completely decimated. Goldar and Scorpina and the putties have laid waste to an entire tomb of monks. They're laid dead and battered all over the steps. There's one on the floor gargling blood from his mouth, but it's perfect. It doesn't feel over the top and gratuitous. It feels like exactly what you would want in this kind of comic. Same goes for the artwork. Freddie Williams II that drew this comic has absolutely nailed the kind of style that you would want. It feels like hyper real and cartoony and colourful and neon, but at the same time still like very well drawn. Again, the perfect kind of style that you would want for this kind of story. I'm like a real artwork snob when it comes to comic books. Some of them I struggle to read and get into if I don't like the art style. This comic I think I would have been into regardless because it's Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but the fact that the artwork is so on point and so perfect is just like an added bonus to me. And I don't know too much about the artist that drew this, Freddie Williams II. I'm not too familiar with his work, but I will definitely be looking into him more after reading this because he's so on point with it. He's like a pure master of his craft and it's made me enjoy the comic even more. The dialogue is also bang on. It's the exact right amount of cheese that you would want for a Power Rangers comic. The Power Rangers all finish each other's sentences. Rita talks to her goons like shit and they're still as loyal as a dog to her. One of my favourite lines of dialogue so far in the whole comic is when Rita and her goons land in the Toho universe, they find themselves standing off, facing off and interacting with the Exilians from Planet X, a classic villain from the Toho Godzilla universe, and they tell her about Godzilla, and she says, "Godzilla is it, so he's your enemy. This version of Earth may not have Power Rangers, but it has a different kind of protector, it seems." And I love that. It's like every single universe has its own defender, its own protector, and she's landed in a universe where their protector is fucking Godzilla. And it makes me laugh because she's come from a universe where all she's ever had to deal with is just the Power Rangers, and she's landed in this different dimension where she has to deal with like one of the most powerful creatures in any story ever, fucking Godzilla. Like, she should have just stayed back in Angel Grove where all she had to deal with was like a bunch of teenagers. She's now dealing with like the most fucking ferocious monster that's ever existed. And when they land in the Toho universe, one of the first things that you see is Godzilla fighting Megalon in the middle of a decimated city. We also get to see some awesome fights between characters from the different franchises. So you get to see Godzilla versus the Megazord. You get to see Godzilla versus Dragonzord, which is like one of the reasons why this comic is so fantastic, because you've only got to look at the Dragonzord to know that that's obviously based on Godzilla. So to see them two clash is fucking awesome. And I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but Godzilla fucking wrecks the Dragonzord. It's amazing. It's a real brutal fight. And Tommy's just like, yo, out of all the monsters that the Dragonzord has fought, nothing has ever hit him as hard as Godzilla. The Power Rangers also say the same about the Megazord. They're like, yo, literally standing next to this thing, it's melting our shields. This is the most dangerous monster that we've ever come up against. And at this point in the comic, because I'm only 2 issues in, the Power Rangers don't know that Godzilla's a good guy until the very end of it. So they're throwing everything that they've got at Godzilla, and obviously he's throwing everything he's got back at them. It's not until they get the Power Sword that they even manage to like flatten Godzilla for a second. And talking a little bit again about the dynamics of the characters, I feel like they've really stepped up how dangerous Rita Repulsa and her goons are for this comic. I almost feel like Goldar and Rita Repulsa are a reflection of Evil Lyn and Beastman from Masters of the Universe, in a way that she can talk to Goldar like shit and he's still so loyal to her, like he's as loyal as a dog. Anybody says one word to her that he doesn't like and he's straight at their fucking neck with his sword. Like in the old cartoon, Goldar was always very light-hearted. He wasn't the one that was like a big threat to the Power Rangers. Whenever he turned up, they used to really deal with him pretty easily. But in this comic, like, he's fucking on it. As soon as there's a fight, he's in. We also get to see Gigan turn up, which is fucking awesome. As a kid, the first 2 Godzilla movies that I ever saw were Godzilla vs. Gigan and Godzilla vs. Megalon. And they're the 2 monsters that we've seen from the Toho universe so far turn up. So I'm in my fucking element reading this comic. I'm really hoping, and I don't want to get my hopes up because I hate when I do this, but I'm really hoping that Jet Jaguar turns up. Like, if all these monsters are going to turn up from the Godzilla universe and we need Godzilla with some man on his side, we could have Mothra, we could have Anguirus, the Megazord, Dragonzord, and fucking Jet Jaguar. I would love that shit. But I won't get my hopes up. I just love Jet Jaguar. Back to the artwork again. I also love that when you zoom in on the Power Rangers and they're in the Zords and they're talking and stuff like that, we zoom in on their visors and we can see their eyes through the visors. Just gives them a little bit more character. The likenesses are not exactly the same as they're supposed to look as the characters from the TV show, and I don't know if that's because there was a likeness issue with the Power Rangers or anything like that, but it really doesn't matter. I said it when I did the Robin Hood video, that when you're creating like a caricature of someone or a toy of them, it doesn't have to look exactly like the actor. It just has to be visually representative enough for you to look at that character and understand who it's supposed to be. And they knock it out the ballpark with this. They don't look like the original actors, but they're definitely a great representation of the character that they're supposed to be. And like I said, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, and I know it's only a comic, but if people want to get involved with this and they like the sound of it and they want to get one themselves, I don't want to give away all the story. But if you was wondering if Rita brings any of her and Finster's monsters over into the Toho universe, just know that you will not be disappointed. So that's all I'm going to say thus far. And like I said, at the minute, there's only 2 issues out. So if you want to get involved with this, it's not too late. It's only a 5-issue run. It's a nice, small run. The first 2 issues have been out a couple of months now, so you're probably going to have to go on eBay to get those 2 copies. But the other ones you can get from any comic subscription service. I personally like to go with one called Ace Comics. Now, they've not sponsored this video or anything like that. That's just the place that I like to go and get my comics. I use this place to get my old Ultraman Marvel comics that I used to get last year, and now I use them to get the Godzilla vs Power Rangers comics. So you just sign up to their page, you pay them whatever it is for that comic, and then every month it just comes through your post box and lands on the mat. And it's always a real nice surprise when you get it. I can't wait for issue 3, 4, and 5. And although this is, like I said, only the first 2 issues that are out so far, no doubt I'm going to pick up 3, 4, and 5 and do a video on them and like a roundup of the whole comic when I've got all of them, because I can't wait to finish this story and I can't wait to share how much I love these fucking comics with you lot that watch Slimehouse. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you're a fan of Power Rangers or a fan of Godzilla, this to me seems like something that you have to get involved with. So I hope that you manage to get involved with it. I hope that you get those first 2 comics and that you can get the last 3 subscribed, because I feel like, why did it take this long for this thing to happen? Like, this is something that could have happened years ago in an animated movie, in a TV movie, in an actual movie. I don't know. Either way, I love this shit and I'm so happy that it exists, and I can't wait to read the rest of it. So if you did enjoy this video today, don't forget to give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Go back and binge the back catalogue, because I've got a ton of videos on this channel, and at the minute I'm releasing so many. I'm trying to do like multiple videos a week. This is going to be a little extra midweek drop, so I don't know when this will drop, but if you're part of the Slime Alliance, don't know you'll be watching it earlier than anybody else. So at the start of this video, I talked about a new tier on my Patreon. So for £5 or more a month, you can become part of the Slime Alliance. You get advanced viewing access to all of my Toy Talk Tuesdays 2 weeks in advance, and anything else that I do that I finish early, I also drop on there as well. It really helps the channel, and I really appreciate anybody that's took the time to become part of the Slime Alliance. If you can't afford the £5 but you still want to support the channel and become part of the Patreon, you can become a Slime Renegade for as little as $1 a month or more if you're feeling a little bit more generous, and that also really supports the channel. It really helps me, and you'll also see your name run along the bottom of the video now while I'm talking, and you'll become part of the Slime Renegades. I'm also on Instagram, so if you've got any other comics that you think I should be checking out, anything that you'd like to see me review on the channel or talk about, any Toy Talks Tuesday suggestions, or if you just want to hit me up, tag me in your latest car boot haul, show me your toy collection, anything like that, you can get at me on Instagram at Theo_Kane_Slimehouse. With all that said and done, I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu video today, and I hope if you do have an interest in this comic and you would like to check it out for yourself, that the comic gods are shining upon you and you manage to get a subscription to it as well. So remember, go check out Ace Comics. That's where I get mine from. And like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. That's just where I get mine from, and they're very reliable. So if you want to go and get them from Ace Comics, that's the place I would recommend going, because that's where I like to go. Anyway, until the next video, I'm Theo Kane. This is Slimehouse TV, and I will catch you then. Until then, I'm gone. Pow!